all I could imagine while I was watching Senzo Mchunu being Brown Mokgotsi and Julius Mkwanazi, and I was just recovering from a headache listening to Julius Mkwanazi, and I thought, okay, Senzo Mchunu maybe had a change of heart and a change of the truth. And I mean the real truth as to why he decided to disband the PKTT. And when he opened his mouth today, because I'm thinking, sir, you had almost 48 hours to think about this. Think about this carefully. And on top of that, you have one of the best legal minds in your legal team. Okay, Toby. I kept imagining him probably going, you destroying my reputation. Because that's what I would do. I would have, I don't know what I would have done. I think I would have distracted the process and asked for an adjournment, take my client outside and say, hey, listen, you are contradicting yourself. Not only are you contradicting yourself, you are taking this long winding road with a yes or no answer. So much so that you are now irritating the chairperson of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, Justice Madlanga himself. That's what I would have done. I would have just begged him, like, oh yeah, the earpiece. I later found out that actually that's a hearing aid. It's the same hearing aid that you would get, for example, let's say the United Nations, because the United Nations, I believe they speak 5 languages, English included. And so those that don't understand, let's say Mandarin, they will put on those earpieces for English translators on the other side. So, and apparently, Senzo Mchunu does struggle with hearing, or he's hard of hearing, I think because of age. So wherever he goes, he does have an hearing aid or something like that. So now it's not that somebody is whispering on the other side while he is testifying or doing whatever it is. I understood that, and yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Unless it's a strategy to say, oh no. But people that know him say, no, he always has an earpiece. Even in ANC, NEC meetings, he will have an earpiece so that he can hear the process and participate in the process. Anyway, so let's get out of that. I thought, let me just set the record straight because I really needed to look into this and understand what was the earpiece all about. Especially today because it was a disaster for Senzo Mchunu. It went downhill the moment he opened his mouth, and I was like, here we go again. I know he was going to play a political, intellectual mind games. Speaking of which, and I want you to say this with, what's his name, Brown Mokgotsi number 1, as well as Julius Mkwanazi. These are ANC cadres, guys. This is how they conduct their meetings. This is how they speak in their meetings. This is when you ask Brown Mokgotsi about bribery, he will tell you, no, that's not a bribery. I mean, you ask Kat Matlala about corruption, he will say, he will try to, water it down into a very silly explanation. And then you ask Julius Mkwanazi about facilitation. Julius Mkwanazi doesn't know what a facilitator is. Julius Mkwanazi knows the word organizer. Those are the terminologies that are spoken in the ANC. And now if you're going to come with words such as facilitator, we'd be like, especially the type of person that we've seen, or the caliber of person that we see and understand, they don't know those words facilitating. They know organizing. I believe had Senior Counsel Silo used the word organizer, you would have said, yes. You see, yes, yeah. Oh yeah, you see. That's what he would have said. But the word facilitator, he had an issue with it. And that is the appropriate technical corporate term that was used because he is a professional, which now turns out is not a professional type of situation. So that is what also Senzo Mchunu is doing. The word immediately. Why are we still arguing about an adverb that is simple to understand? This adverb, from how I understood it back when I was in primary school, when we were learning about nouns and verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and all of that sort of stuff, some of these you cannot interpret them like immediately. Okay, what is the other word for immediately? There are other adjectives. What any other that says when you use the word immediately, it means now, just now, right now, now. South African, because we know what that means, right? So that is just horizontal, South African to South African. Now the world is beginning to learn what we mean when we say now, just now, and right now, and now. My goodness, South Africans, you need a drama. We are dramatic. That's why this country is a movie. I confess, I'm one of those people. But me, I do respect time. If there's one individual on this South Africa that is punctual to the T, is this guy. And on top of that, if you say to me, Clancis, we are meeting at 12 p.m., and by 5 to 12, I'm not seeing any remnants of you, this is when I begin to prepare myself that when it hits, these days I've become quite lenient. Before, when it hit 12, I'm gone. Now I give you 5 to 10 minutes, just 5 to 10 minutes extra. I mean, I think maybe also age is making me to be more empathetic and start thinking maybe it's traffic, maybe this. But hey, if you're not going to communicate with me timelessly, I'm out of there. All right? But that's not the point yet. The point is that this is how the ANC meetings are held. They last. A meeting that is supposed to be for 2 hours ends up being 48 hours because they are discussing, and on top of that, you'll find that there are 5 items on the agenda. For 48 hours, they've been stuck on one item of agenda because of these sort of things that Justice Madlanga was trying to get out of Senzo Mchunu, a yes or a no. And then Justice Madlanga would ask, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, so you are asking all the right questions, but the person that you're asking them, he's not going to give you a straight answer because that's how he is conditioned by ANC meetings or NEC and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, they walk away having resolved what? So that is why now he makes unilateral decisions on the 31st of December 2024 in disbanding and he was quite slick when he was quite slick about the 28th, the funeral in Eskawini Mbangeni that was on the 28th of December 2024, because he had the national commissioner with him at that funeral on the 28th of December 2024. So he cleverly tries to run away from, because the question would have been, but you were with the national commissioner, you should have said, hey, let's have a sidebar. I know this is not a right environment. I know in the ERO committee, he tried to weaponize it as an African culture that we don't talk about things like this in a funeral. Yeah, okay. But if it involves the national security of this country, I think he should have made an exception and took the national commissioner aside and said, listen, I am going to send you a communique. I know you are going on leave starting today, because that's when Fadima Simula also went on leave and returned on the 14th of January 2025. He could have just put him aside and said, I'm just giving you the heads up that there's a decision that I've come up with, and the decision is that I'm thinking we should disband the PKTT. What are your thoughts? Now, like a mini informal type of a conversation, and then says, listen, when you come back from your leave, but I would have sent this communique, you should disseminate it to all the relevant structures of the police, particularly the PKTT, and the head of it being General Ntlampanazi, so that nobody is surprised. No, he avoids the 28th and says, yeah, I thought about it from the 29th. I could stop holding myself. I'm like, that is the most obvious thing you are trying to run away from because you want to avoid. You think those three people that are sitting as commissioners, they were chosen by mistake? Oh, come on. At first when I was listening to Senzo Mchunu, I thought the commissioners were going to be a little bit lenient. I mean, he's a minister. I mean, some sort of freedom fighter. And that little, that this oh no, 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 no. They were shooting from the hip with Senzo Mchunu, especially the chairperson. I was like, this is very interesting, and I have more respect for all the commissioners, from Mr. Kumalo to Madanga, all the way to senior councils, what they call Baloy. I'm super impressed. Super impressed. Super impressed. And you can tell that this has nothing to do with political emotions that we saw in the ERA committee. In the ERA committee, it was also about campaigning. Like, yeah, this is our opponent. And also, old scores needed to be settled on Senzo Mchunu and the ERA committee. But these ones, you can tell that there's no emotions attached. This is professionalism, and we want to get to the bottom of Mkhatlam Khonazi's accusations on the 6th of July. Here's the thing as well that I thought Mr. Mchunu needs to be brutally honest about. Because it's already out there. What's his name? Bramukhotsi came and literally threw everybody, including himself, under a freight train. Everybody. About the letter or the WhatsApp message that he sent to Ket Matlala that, hey, the problem or your problem of the PKTT is being disbanded as we speak. I'm just paraphrasing here. How he would have known this. And yes, Bramukhotsi tried to lie to say, oh, he heard it from social media, but they pulled out the WhatsApp. And he was like, he almost said, you caught me. You caught me. The chair was hot. It was furnace. It was the double, how does it say again? It was a burning sulfur, something of that nature. I know I have it correctly in my head, but it's fine. Senzo Mchunu was also feeling the heat. It's just that he is a calm guy. Since he's a calm guy, no sweat will be broken out of his face. But you could tell his facial expressions. He was livid. And he couldn't believe that he's being held accountable. Because these guys, they never are held accountable. You look at Bramukhotsi, he knows nothing about accountability. You listen to Julius Mkhwanazi, he walked into that commission of inquiry thinking that, well, I'm smart and I know I'm going to get out of, and I'll also protect Umama, I will also protect everybody else, including Ket Matlala, if I have to. Without realizing that he was also actually holding himself accountable with all those admissions. And when cross-examination with Senzo Mchunu begins, that's exactly where he's going to find himself. And I hope he's being advised not to take us on a long winding road with his answers. Yes or no? But I think that's why it's too late, because the commission has got what they want. And I think they've taken a resolution, especially after listening to Julius Mkhwanazi. I don't know if you noticed, there came a point where the commissioners were no longer arguing with him. They would just simply say, thank you for your response. In other words, Mr. Julius, they are saying, this is a decision they are going, because you refuse or you are evading to answer questions. That's why they say thank you. And that is not going to play in your favor. You see, the jail that you are afraid of, that's where you are going. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Well, I'm not sorry. And the same goes with Senzo Mchunu. Accountability, Dololo, it's not, this is the first time. This is the first time. And unfortunately, the ANC mentality of answering a direct question, you want to take people on a very nonsensical lecture that makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. You adamant, and I think he's the only one that calls PKTT NPKTT. I think he's the only one. National Provincial Political Analyzing Task Team. I think that he's the only one because he refuses to acknowledge the PKTT. And somewhere deep down, I think he resents it. He resents whatever it is they may have found. Whatever it is that they might have found, it's big. And he wants to quash it. That is what I am seeing, that desperation. That please agree with me that the PKTT, I was right in disbanding them because they have no value for South African taxpayers. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a South African and taxpayer, I have no issues with PKTT. Keep them. Keep PKTT. And I'm sure most South Africans are going to agree with that. Most South Africans are going to agree with that. Keep the PKTT. Keep them. Because now there are some academics that were implicated. Come on, sir. And I asked this question, and I'm going to ask it again. You went to school, spent almost a decade trying to become a brain of some sort that will go down in history. And then you had a shortcoming, which is something you're supposed to avoid at all costs because of your academic background. You are building a name, you're building a legacy, and you want to go down in history as a philosopher maybe. And you are going after a woman during the 16th year. Now, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? No. Listen, these are allegations, but if these allegations turn out to be true, you deserve to rot in jail. You are ignoring so many things that are going on in the country. Women are crying when you have the time to stalk a woman because you want to suppress her freedom of expression. I ain't gonna get you fun. You deserve to go there. You deserve to go there. You are not a good person. You are not a South African that respects the constitution of this country. That is why you are entangled with those accusations. Coming from Jen and Konazi, by the way. And my colleague, do what you have to do. And we are going to do what we can as well to protect you. If anything happens to her, she was stopped and possibly intimidated. I put out a shorts just to amplify her safetyness. Why nidlala ngempilo zeni kanje? And then tomorrow I have kids, I have children. Stop it. Stop it. A short that I put, I think it was, I scheduled it before I went to bed, of this Hawks officer. The one that took a bribe from the worker, or one of the workers at the Tembisa hospital that accused of stealing part of the 2 billion rand. And now you are crying. You are crying. Why are you crying? When you did that, what did you think was going to happen? Especially in this South Africa, right? Y'all are not reading the room. You guys are not reading the room. So no, you deserve it. You deserve it. I have no sympathy for you. And anyone else that is busy committing crimes as a public servant, I have no sympathy for you. Ay, come on, guys. Kanti fanele kukhulunywe kuzo yini fanele khale enyonini? Yini nje enyoni fanele zizikhale before you actually it sink in. You cannot go after people who are exercising their constitutional rights. Section 16 of the Constitution is very clear. You should familiarize yourself with it. But I'm telling you, you are not going to get away with it. You will think you'll get away with it, but you will not get away with it. It might not catch up with you now, but it will catch up with you nonetheless. Anyways, so Senzo Mchunu is not going to be helpful to the Madlaga Commission of Inquiry. He's coming there to defend his position as to why PKTT needs to go. And this is urgent, by the way, from the sound and look of things. Quite urgent, so that whatever it is that they have, it does not see the light of day. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Oh, also, including saving his reputation so that he can run for ANC presidency. Hey, Koning. Let me leave it right here. Please do not leave without liking. We'll see each other next time. Goodbye.